Hi, I'm Professor Paul Connett, retired professor of chemistry. I'm director of the Fluoride Action Network. With two scientific colleagues, I published the book, The Case Against Fluoride, and I was invited by Liesa here to come to the Peel region and communicate with the citizens, give the citizens the full story that they're not getting about the dangers of fluoridation and the silliness of fluoridation. Liesa?
Yes, we are very honored and happy to have Dr. Connett join us. He was at our special event last night. Actually, it was our very first public awareness campaign to end fluoridation. We're very excited because we are now in the next stage of our strategy that we have been planning. And what we've done is we've hired a lawyer, and he is going to be representing us. And so, Dr. Connett, if you don't mind, maybe you could share what you read.
I'm very excited about this. I think it's a historic moment for Canada. I think you'd have to be wildly optimistic to believe there's going to be any fluoridation in Canada 2 years from now. And why do I say that? I say that because I've read the brief of this lawyer. He's from a top legal firm here in Canada. And he's shown very clearly that fluoridation is illegal in Canada under Canadian law. It's different. Canadian law is different from the United States law. And I think he would prevail. And not only is his own brilliance evident in this brief, but he's also got support from one of the best scientists, toxicologists involved in fluoridation. That's Kathleen Thiessen, Dr. Kathleen Thiessen from Oak Ridge, Tennessee. And she's been researching this issue for many years and was one of the key panel members of the National Research Council, U.S. National Research Council review of fluoride's toxicity, which was published in 2006. 500-page review, 1,100 references, a landmark publication, and she was a key writer of that publication. And she has submitted to this lawyer a rundown on the dangers and inappropriateness of fluoridation. Very powerful. So when the council, the Regional Council of Peel, that have voted unanimously to hear from this lawyer, for him to explain the case against fluoridation, they're going to be very impressed. And my prediction is they will very quickly back away from fluoridation because they will realize the huge liabilities for themselves and the taxpayers of this region if they continue. Now, failing that, or even if they do that, if any other council in Canada continues to fluoridate, with this lawyer, if people can afford this lawyer, the law firm, I think it will be the end of fluoridation for this reason. In the lawsuit, they will bring forward or subpoena the medical officers of health in various different parts of Canada and Health Canada spokesperson, and they will have to testify under oath. And they will have to produce the science to support their confident claims that fluoridation is safe and effective. I believe that science neither supports the effectiveness of swallowing fluoride as far as fighting tooth decay is concerned, nor will they have enough science to be able to dismiss the voluminous number of studies coming from places like India and China that shows that fluoride is causing damage not only to the teeth but to the bones, to the endocrine system, and particularly to the brain. 37 IQ studies now which shows that fluoride lowers the IQ of children at fairly modest levels. So when these medical officers of health, who are used to getting their own way because they put on those credentials, they know the local decision makers, the local decision makers rely upon them for expert opinion, and when they give them this one side of the story, outright propaganda for fluoridation, not objective truth, when they're forced to produce that objective truth, when they're forced to say what studies are out there to support their opinions, everybody will see that they have feet of clay. And I think that will be a dramatic moment. Excuse me. I believe that will be a dramatic moment for Canada, because I think it will mark the moment where taxpayers are going to say to their government, if you're a bureaucrat, you're working for us, you're working for the taxpayer. and we don't expect you to bend, massage, spin the issue on the scientific issues pertaining to public health. And so if you are caught spinning, massaging, or even outright lying about public health policy and about the science which goes into that public health policy, you can expect instant dismissal. Because whilst we can't expect 100% competence from our civil servants, we can expect and should expect 100% integrity. And on fluoridation, maybe on other issues they've got it, but on fluoridation, these local medical officers of health and Health Canada do not have integrity on this issue. And I don't say that lightly, and I don't say it unkindly. There's nothing personal in this. I know none of these people personally. I'm only basing it upon what they say about the science and what I know about the science. And that's why I say you're not doing your job, you're spinning the science, you're only giving the citizens one side of a story which affects their health, affects their children, affects their future. That is unacceptable. I do believe we have the magic bullet that's going to make that clear to the whole of Canada, but to begin with, to the whole of the Peel region. And Liesa, this time you better say your name and which group you represent.
Liesa Cianchino, that's right. The group is Concerned Residents of Peel to End Fluoridation. I've added that to that. But thank you so much, Paul, because we are so honored, as I said, that we were able to bring you here. It's the fluoride experts that are able to help us, and Paul has been working with many other experts across Canada, the U.S., and the world. It's a team.
It's a team effort. I often say this, that affecting change is like driving a nail through the piece of wood. The expert's role is to sharpen the nail, but the expert cannot push that nail through the wood with his bare hands. The expert needs the hammer of public opinion. We need the citizens to get educated, get organized, then we can win. And I urge the citizens of the Peel region to support us on June 26th and be a part of the historic moment when we hear that brief from this lawyer.
And it is going to be part of history, so it's just the next step.
Yeah.
And as you said, I mean, you give us the expert all the information. We don't have it. I don't claim that I'm a scientist, chemist. I have no knowledge with that information, but I do know what's common sense. And I know that we are all being affected by this, and it's just wonderful to know, Paul, that we have you and many others that have worked with us and have helped us. So it feels like a great big family, actually, that we all support one another. So we are encouraging each of you to please come out and join us, and together we can make this happen. So thank you so much for joining us here in Canada, and we'll definitely have you back for the victory party.
And thank you for the media for taking the time to do this.
Yes, thank you so much for having us.